A 10-year-old girl selling jasmine outside a luxury hotel overheard 3 Russian words that stopped her cold. When he enters. She watched the sleek black SUV idling at the curb, the same car the empire's most powerful man stepped into every single evening at precisely 6 p.m. Nobody noticed her. Nobody ever did. But tonight, that invisibility was the only thing standing between a man she'd never spoken to and a bomb rigged beneath his seat. She had 18 minutes, and not a single adult would listen. Amara Osei, 10 years old, set up her jasmine basket outside the Meridian Grand Hotel every weekday at 3:30 p.m. Cheap cheekbones, scuffed trainers, a smile she deployed like a tool. She'd sold 6 flowers since school. 6. Enough for bus fare and bread. Not enough for the water bill threatening to drown her grandmother Nana Isi in paperwork. Amara was invisible here, just another street child in a world that moved too fast for people like her. Rich guests stepped past her like she was part of the pavement. She was used to it. But they didn't know, what nobody knew, was that Amara Osei spoke flawless Ukrainian. Her late mother, a nurse from Kyiv, had taught her every word before the car accident took both parents 18 months ago. That secret language was all Amara had left of her. On the 22nd floor, Roman Seo stood at the floor-to-ceiling glass surveying the city he'd swallowed whole. 36 years old, self-made, merciless. He'd built the Seo capital empire from a borrowed laptop and a will that had crushed 3 business rivals in a single year. He did not do warmth. He did not do trust. People were variables, useful or disposable. His schedule was his only religion. Depart at 6 p.m., enter the car at 6:02, arrive home by 6:20. No deviation, no weakness. His head of security, Daniil, appeared in the doorway. "Shanghai meeting confirmed, sir." Roman didn't look up. "Anything else?" "No, sir." "Then stop breathing my air." Daniil left without a word, exactly how Roman liked it. Order, control, precision. Amara was rearranging jasmine stems when she heard it. Not English, not French, Ukrainian, the language of her mother's lullabies. 3 guards stood near the hotel's side entrance, smoking, relaxed, assuming the whole street was deaf to them. Daniil spoke quietly. "When he enters the car." One guard, Mikola, mimed an explosion with his fingers. The third laughed low and ugly. Amara's basket nearly slipped from her hands. She forced herself still, forced her face blank. Her mother had taught her that too. Never let them see that you understand. She looked at the black SUV idling at the curb. The car. Roman Seo's car. She looked at the clock mounted above the hotel entrance. 5:43 p.m. 17 minutes until the most powerful man in this district walked into his own execution. Amara pressed closer, pretending to arrange flowers, catching every word. Her hands were ice. "Device is magnetic, undercarriage, driver's side," Mikola said. "Remote trigger, we watch from the cafe across the street." "And if he somehow gets out alive?" the third guard asked. Daniil's hand moved to the shape beneath his jacket. "He won't." They laughed again and moved inside. Amara stood there with jasmine petals trembling between her fingers and a truth too enormous for a 10-year-old to carry alone. The driver, a calm-looking man named Mr. Park, stood beside the car, scrolling his phone. She approached him. "Sir, the guards, they were speaking Ukrainian. I understood them. They said something bad is going to happen to Mr. Seo." Mr. Park looked down, patient but distant. "Go sell your flowers, little one." She'd already lost 3 minutes. Amara ran to the hotel entrance. A lobby guard blocked her immediately. "No soliciting." "I need to speak with Mr. Seo. It's about his safety, please." The guard actually laughed. She pulled her basket tighter and tried again, her voice cracking at the edges. "The Russian-speaking guards, they're planning out now." A hand closed around her shoulder, not unkind, just final. She was steered back through the revolving door into the evening air. She stood on the pavement, chest heaving, the city roaring around her like it didn't care. Because it didn't. She was 10. She was poor. She had no phone, no badge, no last name that opened doors. The hotel clock read 5:49. 11 minutes. Amara looked at the black SUV, looked at the entrance. She made a decision that would change everything. She remembered what her mother used to say on hard nights in their cramped apartment. "Mala, you are small, but small things can shake the ground when they refuse to be quiet." Amara straightened her spine. She was done asking politely. She repositioned herself directly in front of the hotel's main exit, the exact path Roman Seo would walk. She would not move, she would not whisper, and she would not let this invisible girl stay invisible for 1 second longer. The guards who were part of the plot were stationed across the street now, watching the cafe window. Daniil had disappeared inside, probably to confirm the signal. Everything was set. Everyone was in position, except for one small girl with a basket of jasmine and a dead mother's language burning in her chest like a flare. The hotel doors opened. Roman Seo stepped out. Tall, composed, phone already at his ear, speaking numbers into the air. Mr. Park opened the rear door of the SUV. Roman moved toward it. Amara stepped directly into his path. "Mr. Seo!" Her voice broke on the second word. He didn't stop, didn't even register her. She stepped sideways, blocking him. "Mr. Seo, please, your car!" He went around her. She grabbed his sleeve. The fabric was softer than anything she'd ever touched. Roman stopped, looked down at the small brown hand on his jacket cuff. His expression was a wall. "Let go." "There is a bomb under your car." Silence. 1 full second of absolute silence on a loud city street. His eyes, sharp, dark, unreadable, dropped fully onto her face for the very first time. "Get security," he said quietly. A guard was already moving towards Amara. In one breath, she switched to Ukrainian, her mother's tongue clear and precise as a blade. "Pристрій під машиною, дистанційне підсадження, коли він сіде, вони активують." The device is under the car, remote detonation. When he's seated, they activate. Roman's hand shot up, halting the guard mid-step. His face had gone completely still, the kind of still that precedes a storm. He looked at the SUV, at the cafe across the street, at Daniil's position, then back at her, this child with worn shoes and jasmine-stained fingers who had just spoken a language his Ukrainian-born mother had spoken at bedtime. "How many?" he asked, his voice low and glacial. "3. Daniil and 2 others. They're watching from the cafe." Roman's jaw moved once. "Mr. Park, step away from the vehicle. Now." Everything exploded into motion, controlled, precise, terrifying. Roman's trusted inner security team poured from the building, not the guards in Daniil's network, but the 6 men who answered only to Roman personally. Daniil saw it from across the street. His hand went inside his jacket. Roman's voice cut through the distance like a thrown knife. "Daniil, you move, you confirm everything I already know. You run, same result." A frozen moment. The whole street held its breath. Daniil's hand stopped. The 2 cafe guards were already being flanked. Mikola tried to bolt left and ran directly into 2 of Roman's men. At 5:59 p.m., 60 seconds before Roman would have entered that car, every conspirator was contained. Police sirens wailed 4 blocks away, closing fast. Amara stood in the middle of it all, her jasmine basket clutched to her chest, shaking. The bomb squad swept the area clean, 3 blocks evacuated. Roman stood behind police tape, arms watching them work. Amara sat on a curb, wrapped in a silver emergency blanket some officer had draped over her. Her, still holding her basket because she didn't know what else to do with her hands. Roman crouched beside her. It was the strangest sight, this suited empire in a squat on a pavement curb. "What's your name?" "Amara Osei." "How old are you, Amara?" 10. He was quiet. The bomb squad leader crossed toward them. "Sir, the device was real. Magnetic, remote trigger, positioned for maximum," he glanced at Amara, "effect. We got lucky." Roman looked at the small girl. She looked back without flinching. "You saved my life," he said. It wasn't a performance, just a fact, spoken plainly by a man who rarely admitted needing anything from anyone. 2 hours later, Amara sat in a chair that cost more than 6 months of Nana Isi's rent. Roman's office. Nana Osei beside her, hand warm and trembling over Amara's. Daniil had confessed within the hour. A rival syndicate had paid him $2 million to eliminate Roman cleanly, no evidence. 3 guards, 1 device, 1 predictable routine exploited perfectly. Roman set a folder on the desk in front of them. Inside, a property deed for a 3-bedroom apartment in the safe district, fully paid. "We can't," Nana Osei started. "You can. You will." Roman's voice was firm, but not cold. "Not tonight." And Amara, private school, full scholarship, primary through university, whatever she chooses to study. Sir, that's too much." Roman shook his head slowly. "I walked past your granddaughter every single day. I saw a street child. I saw nothing." He paused. "She saw a human being about to die. That difference is worth everything I have." Amara knocked on Roman's office door on a Tuesday afternoon, new school uniform, backpack bouncing. She'd come to thank him. Nana Osei had insisted on a proper thank you in person. Roman was behind his desk, surrounded by restructuring reports, background checks on 50 personnel, everything being rebuilt from the foundation. He looked up. Something in his chest shifted. She crossed the room and hugged him. Simple as that. The way children hug, completely, without strategy, without agenda. Roman had not been hugged in 9 years. He sat very still for a moment. Then slowly, carefully, he put his arms around her. And for the first time since he'd built walls high enough to call them a personality, something on the other side of them stirred. He would tell no one. But later, when she'd gone, he sat alone for a long time and thought about the person he'd almost died being. The Amara Osei Community Hub opened on a drizzly Saturday morning with a crowd of neighborhood children pressed against the entrance like they'd been waiting their whole short lives. Free meals, after-school tutoring, language classes, a safe, warm room to simply exist in. Roman had built towers and hotels and investment portfolios worth billions. None of it had ever felt like this. Amara cut the ribbon with scissors too large for her hands, grinning so wide it looked like it hurt. Nana Osei stood beside Roman under an umbrella, dabbing her eyes. "You didn't have to do all this." "Yes, I did." He watched Amara immediately pull 3 younger children through the door to show them the reading room. She saved 1 life. This place could change hundreds. It's still not even. Nana Osei looked at him steadily. "She would say it is." Roman smiled. It was still new on his face. It looked real. Roman sat at his desk. On it, financial reports, a restructuring plan for the Seo Capital charitable arm, and a framed photograph. Amara, age 10, holding Jasmine, laughing at something off camera, completely unaware the picture was being taken. A year ago, he'd been 60 seconds from death, surrounded by paid protectors who'd sold him out, isolated by the fortress of his own ego. And a child he'd never noticed had been his only defender. Not because she'd gain anything, not because he deserved it, because it was right. The thought still undid him if he sat with it too long. His phone buzzed. A voice note from Nana Osei. In the background, Amara, "Tell Mr. Roman I came first in the maths exam." Roman set the phone down. He pressed his fingers to the desk, took a breath, said nothing for a moment, then called his assistant. "Cancel my afternoon. I want to attend Amara's school ceremony next week." Roman Seo is not the same man. His empire still stands, larger, in fact, than before. But it is run differently now. Background checks, ethical audits, transparent governance. A standing desk policy that requires senior executives to volunteer 12 hours a month at the Amara Hub. His security chief once asked him when the transformation had started. He thought about it for a long time. "A girl grabbed my sleeve," he said finally, with 2 minutes left, after every adult had failed. She was 10 years old, and she didn't quit. He looked out at the city. The same city, different eyes. If the smallest, most invisible voice in the room is the only honest one, you'd better learn to listen. Amara Osei is 12 now, first in class. She wants to study human rights law. Roman Seo already has the best lawyers in the country on speed dial for the day she needs them.